I'm the best.
They've got it down as DKU status to be confirmed.
Well, if there's Crescent Isle, then of course it's confirmed.
But you see, they actually have articles and pages for Sea of Thieves. They don't have any for Yooka-Laylee.
That's because it's made by Platonic, not Rare. And Yooka-Laylee is...
You'd say that, but they have pages for Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, which was not made by Rare.
Yeah, but it still involves Donkey Kongs.
Okay, take for instance hashtag IDARB, which is a I guess it's a football themed indie game, and yeah, everyone's in it from He-Man to Carl Grimes from The Walking Dead to Banjo. Not developed by Rare. Donkey Kong.
Yeah, but it has Banjo, who is inside of the DK universe.
So you understand it, so why are you asking for explanation?
I don't even remember what the original thing was about, so...
Well, let's take this one. Goldilocks and Little Bear, which is a retelling of the story of Goldilocks for Android and iOS. That's DKU.
How?
Because Royston the goldfish appears in a goldfish bowl on one of the pages.
Was it made by somebody from Rare?
It was made by people who used to be at Rare. Now, being a goldfish in a bowl doesn't necessarily make it Royston. What makes it Royston is he has to tap the bowl 3 times. As Royston does in Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, I'll do Yooka-Laylee for TCC here whenever they finish making it. I still find that it's a little on the embarrassing side that the Toy Box demo prize, the guy going, "Oh, look for me in the full game and you'll be surprised. Do this thing and stuff will happen," and they never finished it.
Well, maybe he's saying, "Look for me and you'll be surprised," because he's not in the game, and therefore that's the surprise.
Well, he is in the game, but when you do the thing they told you to, which is to ground pound a certain rock near a ship in the last level, something comes by and drops him off there. I forget what exactly, but when the game first came out, if you talk to him, he just is loading something at 50%. Please be patient. And after an update where they added a few more language options to the game some time back, he now says at 75%, but that's as far as it ever goes. And there's been no word from Platonic in regard to the update. I mean, after the Switch release of Yooka-Laylee, they basically been maintaining radio silence. Other than, retweeting and liking any Yooka-Laylee fan art on Twitter. It's that problem with communication, your fans want to know, what's the status of the thing that you said you were working on?
Sorry?
Yooka-Laylee, Platonic, them not finishing the one that's secret for the toy box demo thing and other things they promised. People are still waiting on it. People still keep asking them things, but they're just being silent. All you have to do is say something like, "We're working on it. We don't have an estimated time. Thank you for your inquiry." You know, something small. It doesn't have to be anything grandiose. Just, we're working on it. Even if you're not actually working on it, do something to at least sate your customers.
Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, it's easier than ever for a publisher or a developer to be in touch with their audience. I mean, every major studio's got a Twitter and probably a Facebook page. Some of them, if they're particularly weird, have a Tumblr. So, I mean, it wouldn't be any skin off their back just to say, "We're working on it. Please be patient. Thank you for your continued interest in Platonic." But, I mean, they're not even doing that.
Yeah, it's just, after the Switch release, complete silence. Doesn't help, though, that everybody's went absolutely ballistic on them after the whole JonTron debacle.
I don't get it. Most of the people who complained wouldn't have played the game to begin with. Or if they did, they wouldn't have got far enough in it.
No, the people who are complaining are the people who claim that they did remove them. They're basically going about and saying, "This game sucks because you removed JonTron," and I'm just like...
Well, I don't think that's why the game sucks. The game sucks for other reasons, which you can read about in your excellent review on Random Access.
Yes, if you have a few days to read that article, it is available.
It is dissertation length, after all. You did go to great detail.
Yeah, basically explaining that the game is a solid 7. It's not bad, but it's just... It's getting C+ work. Oh, seizure warning, by the way. This is the seizure level.
Oh, I completely forgot that I wrote a review of that. The new review up on Random Access today.
Oh,
it's mine.
Gate?
Yeah, I completely forgot I'd written a write-up for that.
That'll date this video.
What, and talking about Facebook's thing in court last week, and the email didn't date the video already?
Facebook's in court almost every week.
Oh, I see. When he turns, they think, "Oh, wouldn't it be funny if he flashed the screen when he turns?"
Yeah, Glimmer also does that, but not to as an extreme degree as Squawks. They weren't really thinking about epilepsy at the time.
Well, no, back then it wasn't really... I guess it might have been on some developers' minds, but...
People who actually had experience with epilepsy.
Yeah, people who had experience with it. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I try to not turn as best I can, but sometimes I just have to.
That'd be me screwed, because when I'm playing a platformer, I'm turning left and right all the time. When I do a jump, I turn left after the jump. What is a Kong letter doing in the main bonus stage?
It's just being there.
But that's not fair. I like how you're trying to complete this bonus stage without moving at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't even have to have the torch thing in the bonus stage. They could have taken it out.
Squawks is also the only animal buddy that's been inside every Donkey Kong Country game, including the Returns ones.
I was about to say you're telling me Rambi isn't, but then I'm like, well, no, he isn't. Like, isn't he replaced with an elephant in DKC3?
Yep, Ellie the elephant.
Mm.
I hope that Platonic doesn't get discouraged from the way Yooka-Laylee turned out, and that they actually do work on some new games, because Rare's style is good, but Yooka-Laylee was honestly just... it was only okay. It's like... it's a 7. They delivered what they promised, essentially, you know, a new Collectathon 3D platformer in a style similar to Banjo-Kazooie, but ultimately it was just that and nothing more, which is why I said it was C+ work coming from A+ students.
I wouldn't really call it in the style of Banjo-Kazooie. I guess maybe if we're talking gameplay wise, but
yeah, in terms of there's note-like things and
the looks of the game, the visuals, they just don't appeal to me. I think Nuts and Bolts looks nicer. Now, that probably is because Nuts and Bolts had a bigger art team, but just aesthetically, style-wise, I think Nuts and Bolts looks nicer than Yooka. I honestly do. Yooka's just got this... maybe it's because the areas are so empty, but it's just got this empty look to it.
It is because the areas are empty. They pretty much... if the game, in my opinion, is more like Banjo-Tooie than anything, because you need things from other areas to get everything from other areas. But... let's see if putting my thoughts here together. One of the things that make the game feel empty is enemies. There's not only not very many enemies at all, I think there's 5 or 6 total enemy types in the whole game. Whereas, like, Banjo-Kazooie and them would have, like, a handful per stage. You know, like, Mumbo's Mountain has termites, tickers, if you will. Those pants goblins, whatever they are, the purple guys, and the blue bull guy. Isn't much, but that's Mumbo's Mountain. And like Bubble Gloop Swamp, you have the poison dart frogs, you have those dragonflies. It's like every place has its own special themed guys, but Yooka-Laylee, you're going to be seen everywhere. I believe they're called corplets, basically small goblin guys who have this exact same sound effect and everything, but they have like some goofy little something to them for each stage. So it tries to trick you into thinking that there's more enemy variety than there actually is. And then there's Googly Eyes, which will basically hop onto some destructible object nearby and then bounce into you. Which, okay, I guess is another way of them trying to make there seem to be more enemy variety than there actually is. And then there are zingers, let's call them that. Little bee guys that shoot their stingers at you. And that's what you're going to be seeing mostly everywhere.
So there's not even any enemies that are exclusive to a level?
There are not.
Wow. How'd you drop the ball so bad?
I don't know. How do you make the first 2 bosses of your game literally a wall with a face? That was my first impression of Yooka-Laylee. Yeah, the boss of level 1 is literally a wall with an eyeball and a mouth. And the boss of level 2 is a wall with a mouth and 2 eyes.
Oh, 2 eyeballs.
Yeah. Which, I honestly, at that point, I was like kind of afraid, like, oh no, don't tell me all the bosses in this game are just walls. Thankfully, they weren't. Level 3 has a tentacle thing with eyeballs that you attack. And World 4 is probably the most interesting one because it's a minecart section, but boss. And the 5th boss is like a meeting. But yeah, it's just the game really doesn't make good first impressions, I guess, and there is certainly a lack of variety in the game. Just not as this is the one, by the way, that there's a hidden side of this bonus. What you gotta do, grab it as Diddy, and hug the wall, because otherwise, if you don't, you just do the victory animation and automatically exit.
Wow. What did you spell there?
Donkey!
Ah. It looked like, the D looked like an O.
Yeah, if you spell donkey, you get 1 life. Spell Kong, you get 2 lives. And then there's country, which will give you 3 lives. Anyways, back to Yooka-Laylee, and how it feels empty. Lack of enemy variety aside, the enemies aren't there to be an obstacle. At least most of the time.
What purpose do they serve then? Just to
refill your health. That is literally it.
But in Banjo, if you needed to refill your health, you didn't just have to kill enemies to do it. There were health dispensers, in a sense. There were
there are a few spots in each level where there are like what you call it? Just little spots where butterflies are just floating around for no reason. No beehives, sadly, but there are some spots, but enemies are the only things that you'll mostly see. And basically, you just swat a group of like 3 or 4 enemies, and then the last one will always drop a butterfly to eat. That's all the purpose an enemy will serve. And they're like always often little out of the way spots. So like I said, they're not obstacles. Enemies are just there to die to refill your health. Which, by the way, Platonic, if you're looking for an enemy designer, I'm ready for hire.
Your extra long review of Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah, what about it?
Well, afterwards, you felt like you needed to balance it out and have the shortest review on random access as well.
What, the Nabisco premium crackers?
Yeah.
Yeah, those an April Fool's joke I came up with. Because it's like, Why do they call them premium crackers? They're just crackers. And thus the review was born. I of course asked Soy ahead of time if it was okay.
Yeah.